You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Hello again. It's Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, and my name is Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth.
How we doing, guys?
I'm excited. I snagged some 9 Inch Nails tickets.
Ooh, where are they playing?
Cleveland. So I think they feel
famously Cleveland rocks.
Yes. I think that's basically the reason I think they're playing there is ever since they got inducted into the Hall of Fame, I feel like they've owed a concert there, and things keep getting canceled. And they sold tickets a couple of years ago or maybe it was even last year. They sold tickets to a concert in Cleveland, and it got canceled and stuff. And so they're trying to do another tour, finally do this tour, and the first one they were selling tickets for was the Cleveland it's at Blossom, which probably my favorite venue. I love that amphitheater. Went to probably 20 concerts there, and
it's good.
They were selling tickets, and I've got the fan pre-sale thing I could get in on, but it's pretty much impossible to get these tickets. I failed last year when I tried to get them, and this time I stayed up trying to buy them, and it was just impossible. It was like you're 2000th in line, and then they were trying to fight off the scalpers.
Yeah,
and they're like trying to be really conscientious about this. Actually, the last time or a couple times ago when they were selling pre-COVID, when they were selling tickets, you physically, like just like we did in the 80s, you had to go to the mall to buy tickets. They were making you physically go stand in line and buy tickets for 9 Inch Nails concerts a couple of years ago. They're like, we're not doing it. We're sick of the scalpers. And I was like, I love it. I'm not going to go do it, but that's cool. I respect it. But now they set up some system where you're in this queue that you can only have like the chance to buy so many, and then you get kicked out of it and things. Really, it's great for getting rid of scalpers. But then what I was doing is putting me into a queue. There's like 10 sets of seats there, and every time you pick one, it's already been bought by somebody else. Like you cannot do it fast enough. And it's like, then it kicks you out and you're at the end of the line, just keeps going through. I never did get any. So I ended up just went to sleep, woke up, went on StubHub and bought tickets.
From a scalper.
Yeah, exactly. Bought scalpers tickets. I was like, whatever. I would never go stand in a line anyway. And I was like, they weren't that much more. I just went and grabbed them, and I got to pick the ones in the front row of a section like I like to get. And my son's going to be thrilled because he's given me a hard time ever since I went when he was 14. I was like, I think you're just a little too young for 9 Inch Nails. And I regretted it 6 months later when he was really into them and ticked that I hadn't taken him. So I'm going to tell him on his birthday here in a month or two that we're going to be going. And he'll be psyched. Assuming everything works out. At least it's an outdoorish venue. I don't expect it to be canceled.
You're not close enough to get sweat on from Trent Reznor's sweat to splash on you.
No. Unfortunately, no.
I'm on the splash though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard some other news today involving tickets. Some good news. This might be triggering to one Mr. Jesse Starcher. If the trauma that he has experienced, we're sensitive to. So Jesse, you might want to turn off your radio and not listen to this right now. But Movie Pass is coming back. If you're not friends with Jesse Starcher on Facebook, you're missing out. And one of the greatest sagas of all time was Jesse v. Movie Pass. And watching his slow descent from, hey, I got this cool thing where you get tickets to movies, to it being the bane of his existence. So, yeah. So this Movie Pass idea came out. You bought a monthly subscription, like $10 a month or whatever, unlimited movies. It was super popular. Way too many people signed up.
More than they ever expected.
Yeah, immediately started losing money by the gallon. And they immediately started like, well, you can only see this many movies. They changed the terms and conditions and altered everything. So it crashed and burned spectacularly. So anytime I see a headline about Movie Pass, I think about Jesse, and I usually share it to him in some way. But the original founder, a guy named Stacy Spikes, has reacquired the brand and has vowed to relaunch the service, quote, properly. He's figured out what went wrong and he's going to fix it. So Movie Pass 2.0 is coming, and you get a subscription that grants you credits that you cash in. So you're going to, instead of just unlimited movies or one movie a day or whatever, you get credits. So the theaters that they're going to partner with will offer tickets the way they want to for like different amounts of credit. So if you want to go to a Thursday afternoon matinee, might only cost you 2 credits, but a Friday night opening of a big blockbuster might be 10 or 12 credits, or however that would work. So
this sounds like the Disney dining plan. Good luck, Jesse. Start planning. Use those credits wisely, my friend.
But it said there'll be tiered plans, so you'll get a basic cheap plan up to some kind of platinum plan or whatever. And the credits will roll over. So if you don't use them all in a month, you'll be able to use them later. And they said you'll be able to trade credits. So other people involved with this, you'll be like, hey, I need 2. I need 2 credits.
Yeah, for food, credits. Like Ray at the beginning of Force Awakens.
1 quarter credit.
But it's supposed to launch this summer. There are no details on the cost yet. There's no idea. But they said it should also probably integrate something called pre-show, which this guy Spikes created while Movie Pass was dead and dying. It was this new thing. You reward the users of this app with like in-game, like video game currency, like Fortnite V-Bucks or whatever those are called, for watching ads. So you watch ads on this thing called pre-show, and you build up credits that you can spend or whatever. And
it like tracks your eyes.
If you look away,
you have to watch.
Yeah, if you look away.
Off.
Yeah.
Fuck all of that. I hate it. I hate it. This is the stupidest. You are the villain. I hate you for coming up with that. You're gonna hold our heads like Clockwork Orange and make us watch this stuff to earn credits. It's like,
welcome
this
to the future.
Is the dystopia. Oh my god.
And it all started with Movie Pass. We knew it.
Exactly. This was what took us down.
If that had taken off, this guy would have never had this other idea.
Oh, I hate that guy. Whoever he is.
Stacy Spikes, villain.
Oh, sounds like it.
But I also learned he said he came up with this idea. There's a film crew following him around doing a documentary about the rise and fall of Movie Pass. So sign me up for that. I will watch the documentary that is currently being filmed, but I will not sign up for this.
What a scumbag.
Sorry, Jesse. I know he's having flashbacks right now.
If I felt that I could explain the picture I made of Jesse and sent to you today about Movie Pass, if I thought I could explain that.
There's too many steps. Too many
steps. It was just a joke between you and me. But trust me, Jesse, it was a joke about Movie Pass at your expense. And I couldn't explain it. You'd have to have watched a certain movie, and I know you haven't. Okay.
But we've certainly watched plenty of other stuff.
Oh my. Yes, we have. I got to talk about Murderville.
What do we got here?
Stab wounds in her upper back.
Tough time imagining with just the outline. Ken, get in the position and slowly be dying too. You got to keep track of the evidence. You have a notepad?
For Terry Seattle, every day means a new murder case and a new celebrity partner.
You ready to solve a crime?
Ready.
Scream it!
I'm ready to solve a crime!
Let's go! Forget how strong I am. I want you to think of this as your crime scene.
Judging by the top hat-shaped dent in her skull, this was the murder weapon.
What kind of sick ass shit is this? If we're gonna crack this case, we're gonna need to go deep undercover. Don't get caught. Who are you?
I'm Vinny the Champ.
Oh, no, he's Vinny the Fork. This is Eva Braunfinger from Germany. Very thick accent.
Oh, I'm good at that. I love the cutting. Oh, shit.
No, it's fine.
What's your name?
Todd Carey.
Name is Todd Carrington.
Berg.
Carrington-Berg.
Son.
I'm sorry. Todd Carrington-Bergson.
Field.
And Field.
These are our three main suspects. Please choose who you think did it.
It's new show on Netflix. Have either of you guys watched any of it?
I finished it. Yes.
Is this the show where it has a special guest?
Yes.
Okay. I watched the first one with Conan.
Okay, so it's Will Arnett, and this is based on a British show that was called Murder in Successville. Well, this is a far better title, Murderville, just shortening it to that. And it's a procedural, basically. I mean, it's just like they have this. I love that they have the same mechanics to each episode. You know, some of them don't. Some of the parts don't work. I think there's a part that they could lose, but it's Will Arnett. He plays Terry Seattle. He's a cop, detective in homicide, and he's got his boss, and you know, she always gives him a new partner at the beginning of each episode. And the whole point is the show is roughly scripted, but the actors will improvise as they go along according to whoever the guest star is. The guest star has no idea. They have no script. They are just the new partner to Terry Seattle. And so they show up with no script, and they have to totally improvise as they go along. And the first one was Conan O'Brien, and they come in, just sit at the desk and have a little talk for a little bit. You know, he kind of interviews them, finds a little bit out about them, and then the chief will come in and there's been a murder. She'll give them some information they need to know about the killer, and then they end up quickly finding out there's like 3 suspects, and they go out to investigate it. And what is wonderful about the show is that, unlike any detective show you've ever watched, Law and Order or whatever, these are solvable cases, not only for the audience, but also for the person, the guest star. And the point, you know, what they are doing, they go to these, talk to the 3 suspects and get all this. There's evidence in the room. There's clues constantly by what the suspects say or do. And they take notes. They're supposed to they have their little pad and they take notes. And at the end of the episode, they are asked to solve the murder, who did it. And they have been given all the clues, you know.
That's where I feel it's a little unfair, where like the first one I watched, I paid no attention because I didn't know they were going to be that specific. It was like, oh, they really are giving you the clues. I thought it was just comedic. So the next few I really paid attention to and tried to solve. And it's like, all these clues are so obvious. But then I'm thinking, this has been edited down into a tight half hour.
Yes.
Each suspect gets about 4 minutes of screen time. So like these celebrities spent probably hours in this room with these people filming stuff, and so like, how could he not notice that she mentioned that she likes this song or whatever? It's like, I don't blame any of the celebrities that got it wrong, because I'm sure there was plenty of distracting things to miss these early
clues. But yes, it is heavily edited. But what they every episode, I felt it was easy for us to solve if you tried, but there were some it was just like, well, it was close, but and yet sometimes they don't get it. I love the show. I love it. The only part I don't like is at one part they do this mechanic that's just very forced. It's kind of an impractical Jokers type thing where he puts a thing in their ear and Will Arnett tells them what to say when they go talk to one of the suspects. And that is so clunky and unnecessary.
But yeah, it's only funny if the people you're talking to don't know,
but they're actors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's all fake anyway. So I didn't quite get. Yeah, I'm here to improv, but you're making me say exactly what you want me to say.
Yeah,
so that's a weird.
That doesn't work at all. But the rest of it totally works. I love it. I love Kim. What's that? Ken Jeong, is that his name?
Ken Jeong.
Mm-hmm. He was having such a good time. Like he would just laugh out loud. Something he thought was funny, he'd just laugh his butt off because he thought Will Arnett was so. This is fine. I heard some review people thought Will Arnett was terrible in this. I thought this was the best thing Will Arnett's ever done. He was made for this.
Yeah, and he only broke a couple times. I noticed. Like he said some hilarious things, or hilarious things happened, and they rolled with it, and he was straight, didn't break at all.
And Kim Jong just laughed in his face because he thought it was so hilarious. It is just so funny to watch someone. I enjoy watching them break technically they're just improvising, but just how much they're enjoying themselves. Kumail Nanjiani in the third episode was like, he'll make them walk a funny walk or eat something or do so some of that doesn't always work, but some of it is hilarious. Like, I love Marshawn Lynch was one of the best at it. He was one of the best improvisers.
Yeah.
Like, I was so impressed with him. I don't know. It's a great show. It was only 6 episodes. I hope they make more. I'm like, I could, just do some fine details, but you could do this. You could change up the format slightly in the second season so they don't know what they're walking into and bring in new guest stars.
And it worked with comedians and actors, or like Marshawn Lynch, like it was everyone had strengths that worked for this. So it was the 6 episodes with Conan O'Brien, Marshawn Lynch, Kumail Nanjiani, Annie Murphy from Schitt's Creek, Sharon Stone, very respected dramatic actors, and Ken Jeong.
Yes, it was.
And there was even a kind of a storyline.
Yes, there was a through line.
Like I was gonna watch it, I'll watch Kumail's, and then I was like, there's actually plot that develops. So you should watch it in order.
Yeah, you definitely should watch it in order because his partner / love interest died 15 years ago. You find out in the first episode, and then they're gonna try to solve that case by the end of it. So it's great. It's nice, short. I mean, honestly, this is the first show in a while that I'm like, why only this many episodes? I want more episodes. They're not long, and getting a groove of. I enjoyed trying. It felt so D&D to me. So like, it's a group of NPCs, and so the players get to come in. They don't know. They're improvising the whole time. They're trying to solve a case, and any kind of mystery you have in a D&D game has to be like so simple, and the clues have to be in their face because they will never. People are stupid. They don't. You have to really make it very basic, and that's what this feels like.
And I was really impressed by the people, like the other actors.
Yeah,
they go in and talk to these people, and the ridiculous stuff happens, and they all roll with it. Like, well, yeah, that was how that happened. Like, they must be really talented. I mean, there were some I recognized as comedic actors, but some were just no name. I'm sure improv people, and there were some really excellent back and forth with it.
I like Rob Hubel played triplets. It's good. So I highly recommend Murderville. I could see somebody not liking it, but it really tickled me. What are you guys watching?
I'm watching Celebrity Big Brother.
Oh, you are! Oh my God!
Against my better judgment.
Yeah,
I can't believe
feels
it.
obligated.
Wow.
You've done something to me. You've broken me.
Turns out, who'd have thunk it? Chris Kattan is the sweetest sweetheart that ever walked the earth.
I'm so worried about Chris Kattan as a sentence I never thought I would ever say, but he just every time he's on screen, I'm like, oh, Chris, are you okay?
He's such a sweetie pie. He doesn't know what's going on, but he just loves Mariah, and he just wants people to be happy.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever seen an episode of the show.
No,
because everything that happens, like, we're nominating these people. Every time they cut him, it's like, what? Why? What happened? Why? What did I do wrong?
Yeah. Well, what got hit? What the problem was? They put him in that house for a couple of weeks before they ever did anything. They're like letting him live there, and then all of a sudden they're voting somebody out, and he's like, "Oh, this is a show." He's like, "We were just living here, and now, oh, they really are. We're getting rid of people." Lamar Odom is hilarious. He's also a favorite because he is just like, he doesn't care about voting anybody out. He doesn't care about these people. He came there thinking they tricked him to make him think that Khloe was going to be in there, Khloe Kardashian.
Yeah, that's the only.
So some producer has tricked him into thinking there was a possibility she was going to be there. He's like, man, I thought my ex-wife was going to be in here. But he's like, they're voting somebody out at that Teddy Mellencamp, and he's like, oh, we got to walk him out. He doesn't some of them don't know the machinations of the show. So he's like, oh, we got to get up, walk him out. Why are you crying? She ain't dead. What, And then as she's walking out the door, he leans over to Todd Bridges and he's like, I need a pancake. I was like, people are playing that clip all week on the after shows. Is like, I need a pancake.
Yeah, I don't understand why celebrities who know nothing about the show, don't seem good at it or to care about it, are on there. But
it must be just their agents are like, to them, their agents are telling them, we've got this show you can be on, some reality show, and they
be on TV.
Yeah, they don't care what it is. Todd Bridges doesn't care what the heck he's walking in. Any payday he can get, sign me up. Yeah,
it's.
I like
there's no celebrity. There's no Tom Green on there that I'm really there to see. So I don't know why I'm watching, but I'm.
What did Todd Bridges say in his opening when they were introduced? He's like, you either know me from Different Strokes or from my catchphrase that I mentioned in what you're talking about, Willis. So it's like, both things are Different Strokes.
The width and breadth of his career.
There's the guy from Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC, super fan, Big Brother super fan, Todrick from Drag Race and stuff, and Shayna used to be married to Travis Barker of Blink 182.
Shayna Moakler, is that her name?
Yeah, Shayna Moakler. Cynthia, some girl from a Housewives thing. There was Teddy Mellencamp, John Mellencamp's daughter from some Real Housewives. Carson Kressley, he's the most likable character on there from the original Queer Eye. He knows what's going on, but I think people are catching on that he does, and that he's liked. so they're going to want to get rid of him. I can't remember who else. Oh, the UFC fighter, Misha something. Misha Cupcake something they call her.
There was a figure skater.
Yeah, Mirai something medalist, figure skater, and Chris Kattan and Todd Bridges and Lamar Odom.
Yeah, not exactly A-list, but no real villains or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Kattan editing that thing of him getting up and eating cake in the middle of the night.
We're almost getting into bed with Carson
and
Kressley.
Then falling down, like, okay, I know the room's dark, but like, he couldn't even stand upright. He kept tripping and falling down around the bed. Like, poor guy. He's had the run of it.
Yeah, it's something.
But yeah, I like, I like the Todrick guy, and that he seems to know how to, arrange people, and So there's still gameplay going on. He's not just oblivious celebrity.
He is like the episode we most recently saw was the one where they do the contest where you have to hold down buttons and take your clothes off. You've seen that, right?
Yeah.
You have to. They had like a ski outfit on, and they had to take this off. And there's 3 buttons, and every time you let go of a button for a split second, your clock starts going really fast, and it goes exponentially by how many buttons you're not holding on to. And like these idiots, like do not know. It's like, did you even explain this to them? It's like Todrick had to have. He said they're watching them do it. Like, man, this is my competition. They're just going to stand up and take the outfit off and not hold down any buttons and lose by a bazillion. Right. It's like, wow. The only problem is he knows the show. He's been coached by past guests. Like the whole cast of season 23 basically lived with him for the month afterwards. Like he is such a super fan, but he is not naturally good at it. He doesn't have the I've just seen some stuff. He doesn't naturally know how to play the game, and he creates enemies pretty quick. So we'll see how
you end up voting out the people. Oh, this person's competition. So like you vote out the 2 people who are good at playing the game, and you're left with a house full of people who can't follow directions.
Right. Which is it could be fun. I'm not loving it, but I'm watching it.
Something I'm loving is John Goodman's character on the Righteous Gemstones the last few weeks. Well, really this entire season.
We're stuck in a cliffhanger as we speak.
Yeah, exactly. So spoilers for Gemstones, but man, I really, of course, I expected the over the top humor that we got in season 1, but we've gotten some more in-depth development of characters. Eli wasn't a huge part of season 1, but he really took over season 2. And I don't know if that was a lack of what else do we do with these characters, that we haven't seen already, but I've really liked him, and I really like the backstory they've given him, and making him much more of a, I don't know, more of a real person than just head of the family, holy man type thing. So I don't know. I mean, are you guys still watching or?
Yeah. We just had the other, like the first season had a whole episode set in the past with Amy Lee and all that stuff. So we just got one of those, a follow up to that. So we got more of the kid Gemstones who are real, like wherever they found these kid actors who could just embody Danny McBride and Judy and Kelvin finally born. So excellent.
It's a good show.
I really like the 90s Christmas vibe they had going on, and finally got some more Uncle Baby Billy, and I don't know, he's not as likable this year. I mean, not that he was real likable before, but he's ran out on 2 families now.
Well, that's the people I'm seeing are torn. Is he running away from Tiffany, or is he going back to Harmon? Has he learned is he going back to his original family to make some amends? and redeem himself, or is he a much more terrible person than he's run out on two families?
Right.
I don't know. That sounds interesting. It's a good show.
Yeah. So
Funny.
I can't wait to see Kelvin and his muscle men and what goes on.
Muscle men, daddy.
Yeah, I know. I'm not into the muscle men story, but I'm all for some car pranks with my friends.
Well, it cracks me up because I've seen so many of those commercials for those big strong guys that come and rip phone books in half and do these ridiculous things like that. That's gonna bring me closer to God, and they've just picked it up and ran with it on this show like they do everything. But it's gotten a little scary. I'm still waiting on to see what the deal with the reporter was. I'm hoping for more Jennifer Nettles in flashbacks and her playing Amy Lee. And I think they did really, John Goodman looks really good this year. Like, he's dropped more weight. The flashback sequences, they do a really good job of like de-aging him enough, but not too much. So
did you notice that his excuse when he showed up, he was all covered in blood?
Mm-hmm.
That his excuse was he got caught shaving.
I didn't notice that. Wow.
He was misbehaving.
That's true.
Wow. I watched a couple things on Showtime. One, I think I mentioned Yellowjackets. I don't know what, maybe partway through the season. Did I talk about that to you guys?
No, I've heard a lot of people talking about it, but
okay,
well, we haven't really delved into it on here.
Yeah, I picked up Showtime for 99 cents a month there for a while, and there's a show, Yellowjackets, which is it's their new hit, and it's pretty much a must watch. I mean, you got to watch Yellowjackets. They're gonna milk the hell out of that, but I expect the first 2 or 3 seasons to be good.
I'll never forget the day I heard their plane had gone missing. What do you think really happened out there?
All I know is that what happened was a tragedy. Those girls were special. They were champions.
We're going to nationals! I used to think all the sex, the drinking, the drugs, I used to think I did those things because of what happened out there, what I saw, what I did. Hello, Misty, you crazy bitch. It's been a while. I take it you know why I'm here.
Okay, I'm out of here.
We agreed, say no more than we have to. The truth is, the plane crashed. A bunch of my friends died. And then the rest of us starved and scavenged and prayed until they finally found us.
I think we both know there's more to it than that. I think it'll be good to reconnect with some old friends.
It's basically like, the story is it's graduating class, I believe, of 96. So this is 25 years later. This girls' soccer team went to the state championships or nationals, I can't remember, but they were get on a plane and are flying there, and they crashed lost style into the forest miles from civilization, and they have to survive there. And the opening scene of the first episode is showing that basically after some time has passed of them living in seclusion, you can't tell, is there cannibalism going on? Is there some sort of cult? What has happened? You don't know. But simultaneously, we are seeing them 25 years of the future grown up, and the casting of the high schoolers versus the adults is great. They're all good. One of the girls was actually in Boba Fett. She was the main biker girl.
Drash,
if you say so.
That's the only name I remember out of those people.
Sophie Thatcher is her name. She plays the young version of Juliette Lewis, and she does a great job like doing a Juliette Lewis impression. Christina Ricci is in it. She's one of the girls. The other main one, Melanie Linsky, is basically the star as far as I'm concerned of the show. Has a little more airtime than anybody else. And the girl that plays she plays Shauna. The girl that plays young Shauna, I don't know her name, but she is really good also. I'm looking at the IMDb. I'd like to find her name, but I can't. But anyway, she's really good. Look, they all do a great job, and it's dark and funny, and it's just like mysterious what is going on. It's got a little bit of that now and then vibe. I highly recommend it. I've totally enjoyed the first season. It's crazy. Tons of needle drops from that time period. If you went to high school in the late 90s, you're gonna vibe with this. I feel like you and Alicia would like this show, Cliff.
Yeah, I did go to high school in the late 90s.
I know. What year did you graduate?
97.
Okay, well, this is right in your wheelhouse, man.
I was 98.
So you guys should definitely check this out. Get some Showtime. I'm sure there's a deal.
I'll take any Christina Ricci I can get.
Yeah, she's great in it. She's Looney Tunes in this show, and she does a great job.
I always like Juliette Lewis too. I always thought she does a really interesting thing.
She's great. She is full on Juliette Lewis in this, and I just think it's a great show. And it's a very, it is about, it's a women-centric show. They're the stars of the show. Kind of nice to see. The other thing I watched on Showtime, and another reason to pick it up, is We Need to Talk About Cosby is the name of it. It's a 4-part documentary W. Kamau Bell made, and I was kind of waiting to see how people were going to tackle addressing this issue, because everybody wants to talk about it. We've grew up like idolizing Bill Cosby as really, I remember listening to an 8-track of Bill Cosby himself in my grandparents' trailer, listening to that, and of course we grew up on the Cosby Show.
Yeah, I don't know that my parents had any comedy albums, but we had multiple Bill Cosby records.
Right.
Yep.
And he was just known as trying to be he was a clean comic, and he was America's dad in the 80s. Everybody watched the Cosby Show. That was just number one, totally entertaining, and got to show Black people in a different light. He got to do this agenda of showing a successful family as opposed to showing good times, the Jordan style of comedy, the poor families, but basically they take this documentary and do exactly what I wanted. They just start at the beginning of his career. I remember watching I Spy when him and Robert Culp, and they just go from the beginning of his career and go through it, and simultaneously show the timeline of when people say that he was assaulting them.
No, okay.
And
it's amazing.
The allegations are not new. This was Hannibal Buress could make these jokes because it was kind of a known thing. He'd been accused of things like, oh, not Cosby. It couldn't be Cosby. So like, yeah, it was a long time coming that we should have been dealing with this, and we didn't.
Oh,
like you said, now it is way past time to reckon with this. And when it happened, there's still people who will say, I've seen people on Facebook like, oh, they had to bring him down, like they really hurt Bill Cosby, like people who like defend Michael Jackson because he was so important to the culture. There's people who still defend Bill Cosby. He couldn't have done this. He was so important to them. They can't fathom a world where he's a monster. So yeah, I'm sure it's an uncomfortable topic to get into, but yeah.
Well,
that's why it's the perfect title.
What was great about it is you got to address everything, but you also got to enjoy seeing all the great things he did do. Like he was doing, not just having a great career, but progressively doing things to help the Black community. And like, just, they did both in this, and it was incredible. I loved it. I burnt through it. Watched, I thought they were supposed to release them weekly, but for some reason they were all dropped. I was able to watch them, even though it said they weren't supposed to be released right on the screen. But it was great. I really, really, really enjoyed it. And so many times they would show things he said, or in shows, or in comedy things, and I remember seeing them, and you didn't think anything. It was that time. It was how many times he talked about Spanish Fly.
Yeah.
I saw a clip of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Oh my gosh. It was in the Cosby Show. It was on his albums. He was on Larry King. He always talked about it. It was just like his obsession with it. It was just like, this is amazing. I just think it is so well done, and I can't recommend it enough. If you were ever any kind of fan of Bill Cosby and are struggling with this, having this truth come out is just like,
you don't want to take away the positives,
right?
But yeah, how do you celebrate? It's,
and there's it has a lot of talking heads. Like he just brought in a bunch, of people to be interviewed as they went through this and show them clips, and they all talk about through his whole career. So it's like many people that you want to see, people that starred on shows with him, people, just people in the Black community that you want to hear their opinion. Like it's very well done. Again, I'm not gonna say anything else about it because I wouldn't want to spoil anything else. I just think it's a must watch. You're gonna enjoy it.
Well, there's kind of a similar thing going on right now on A&E. There's a documentary series called Secrets of Playboy, which I happened across, and I thought, the title sounds kind of, it's exploitative or whatever. And then I figured it would be, here's the story you didn't know about Hugh Hefner, the world's greatest lover, all that kind of stuff. But I flipped on, and the first thing I saw was a woman who's like, he is a rapist who destroyed countless lives and should never be. It was like, boom, we're going there.
Yeah, it really.
So after it aired, I saw several articles popping up about who is this person accusing Hefner, and like it's kind of brought him back into the spotlight a little bit.
Well, the fascinating thing with it was, because I thought it was just like all Holly Madison just airing her grievances to get back on television.
Right.
That was just my horrible assumption, but it really takes you through his life with Playboy from the very beginning and shows you the history of this repeated behavior over and over and over with just different girls as he got older. And I mean, they have women on there that are, probably in their like 70s now that were telling the exact same story in their interview that Holly Madison is telling in today's world,
and who have never talked and would never have talked back then,
right? But
feel a little safer now to finally tell their story. So I found it really interesting.
I did too.
I never said I was a fan of Hefner, but it's like he was important to the culture.
Yeah.
And there's this whole thing of he helped lead the sexual revolution and help women find freedom, and you know, he was always for free speech, and like all this you know, he was all his clubs were desegregated, so like he hired black bunnies along right with the white bunny, like
they would just kick the guys out, any guy that had a problem with it, they kick him out of the club.
Yeah. Along with all the, you know, the thinkers they interviewed in the magazine and intellectuals, that like he did so much for the culture.
You just read it for the articles,
right? That's how but then along with all, like that's the whole dichotomy, is like, okay, it's women's liberation. There's always been this idea of there's exploitation that goes along with it. Like, okay, women are free to show their bodies, but it's like, yeah, we want to see these ladies' bodies. Like, there's always that kind of yin and yang of the whole thing. And it's this is kind of saying, you know, Hefner was kind of skewing one way more than the other. And It's just some interesting things of, you know, all the drugs that were brought into the place, where like he had other people do it. So like he was never caught with drugs. No one ever, he had no knowledge of it. And he always kept a distance from that kind of stuff. And he hired almost exclusively ex-LAPD police officers as bodyguards and security in the mansion. So if anything ever happened, hey, you know, I treat this guy really well, pay him really well. He's got friends on the force. We can hush this up. Like, it was just all so shady.
Yeah, for
and
decades.
He would invite like members of the media. Hey, come to the mansion for a party, where there's always cameras running. So that there was allegations that he probably had embarrassing videos of lots of people, that if any bad news were to get out, he could squash it pretty quick.
Yeah,
so
he made a lot
of. You probably assumed, but this is kind of laying it out as like people saying, yes, this definitely happened.
Yeah, I thought it was good. It certainly painted him in a different light that I hadn't really thought about for a long time, because, you know, they're in that late 90s, early 2000s era, when his big comeback, the big Playboy comeback, and he had television shows and stuff. You know, he was putting out this image, but that was the story. Everybody thought he was great because, you know, he wasn't exploiting them. He was giving them power and these interesting, you know, political articles and telling the truth and all this stuff. And then, yeah, he's a big old creep.
Yeah, there's the history of drug overdoses and suicides, and there's all this scandalous stuff that's it's public knowledge, I'm sure. But this is trying to reframe it as, you know, we should think more about this, like the same way the Cosby thing is. It's like we can't just sweep all this under the rug. We have to reconcile, you know, the truth behind this and the lives that were hurt.
Anything else you're watching?
Just Euphoria. It's been a crazy couple episodes since we left off. And I think last time we recorded, you'd watched that episode with Ka-Pow, kind of his past and all that. It was kind of outrageous. And Rue's doing drugs, and there are characters on the show, and her being one of them, that I am just like, oh, and I cannot stand her.
But because she's doing a good job.
Right.
Yeah. She's doing a very good job in this show.
Yeah. And then we get an episode like this, the last one that's aired at this time, where, you know, it's just she is on the run, and
she goes through the full
out.
gamut.
Yes.
From the beginning of the episode to the end, she goes the whole cycle of, you know, trying to deal with
withdrawal.
It's a major a lot of stuff going down. It was a good episode.
Man, it was a good episode. They were both good episodes in very different ways, but I watched it just last night. My wife, even, who had already watched it, I turned it on, and she's like, "Oh, this is hard to watch." And I was like, "Oh," which I was like, they've all been hard to watch, you know. But yeah, it was just like, oh, it was intense. and frustrating and just a whole lot of good stuff in there.
I love what she like. I love Sydney Sweeney. Like she's the star of my of the show. And when she shows up at their house and she dares to open her mouth and try to give some, oh well, just da da da. Oh yeah, you wanted to stick your nose in? Well, I'm gonna ruin your life right now. I'm like, oh my gosh. So it was tough.
Yeah.
Like she was just like, basically she was just a tornado. She went through that episode and everyone she came in contact with,
just
she was just wrecking their lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, it's exceptional. The entire
show. I never would have expected this from this
didn't
show.
either. I did not either. And I'm just like, man, I can't. It infuriates me at points, and I'm just like, man, the show. But then I can't wait till the next episode comes out. You know,
that is definitely a show that I watch as soon as it goes to the top of the list as soon as it comes out, because it's one of the best things I'm watching.
HBO.
I don't know how to tell you. Somebody, I saw some poll the other day on Twitter, something like, which streaming service is the most important? You know, Netflix, Prime, Hulu, Disney, HBO. It doesn't matter. I always will pick HBO. It's just like the quality of the shows. We didn't know what this was going to be, and it was almost a laughable failure at the beginning, how they were handling it a year or two ago. But 2021, the putting out the movies right after, within weeks of being in theaters or at the same time sometimes, it's just and the continued quality of their shows.
Well, the shows are that's why we have it. I mean, it's not even about the movies.
I mean, that's just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
It's just like the continued quality of the content.
For HBO
always a good show on there.
Yeah. If they have a movie I want to watch on, that's just bonus. I don't even check the app for what movies are out now. I'm just like, let me see the shows. So
it's fantastic. Why are you not watching Euphoria? I want to know.
Missed the boat.
No, you didn't. It's the second season.
Yeah, we're halfway through the second season.
That ship has sailed. I don't like drugs.
I don't either.
And kids who do drugs.
I don't either.
I feel you. I get you, but it's not that. This show is so much more than that.
Rich kids misbehaving outside waving. I don't like it.
Rue was running through the house with a pickle in her mouth.
I guess I do like kids misbehaving because I'm still watching South Park.
Oh my gosh. Did you finally watch the post-COVID special?
No, I don't have the Apple. No.
Paramount Plus.
Paramount negative something. But yeah, like we've talked about South Park more in the last couple months than we have in a long time. So like I feel like the quality is or the notoriety has come back on or whatever. But season 25 just began.
Oh my god.
25th season.
What is happening now in South Park?
I've been watching it since season 1, so when I was listening to those Yellowjackets songs in high school, I was, that was that long ago. I've been watching the show. So season 25, I'm like, yeah, I'm still on board. Let's check this out. And the first episode is all about pajama day. The kids, their class isn't going to be able to do pajama day. I'm like, those are my favorite kind of episodes of like where they take a kid problem and blow it. It's the most important thing in the world. Like we can't have pajama day. What are you talking about? So I was like, all right, I'm into this.
Yeah.
And then it became this weird, like the whole town started wearing their pajamas. And the one guy didn't want to wear his pajamas. and they're bullying him. What, you don't want to wear your pajamas? And it became this metaphor for masks and mask mandates. And it's like, what are you even, I honestly didn't even know what they're trying to say.
They do.
But that idea of like both sides are crazy on this mask thing. It's like, no, I'm not on board with that. Sorry. So it turned me off. The first episode turned me off completely. I was like, what are you even trying to do? but came back for the second episode, and it was way stronger. It was all about Token, their classmate.
Right.
Where Stan learns his name is not Token. His dad is a huge Lord of the Rings fan. His name is Tolkien. And Stan never knew it. Everyone else in the world knew, and he's like, wait, his name's not Token? It's like, yeah, who knew that? Yeah, we all knew that. His name's Token.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And it becomes this thing, which I don't follow.
It would have been great if they'd have been
Twitter.
bearing clues all these years. That would be amazing.
But I'm sure the idea is like, no black parents would name their child Token. Like this,
right.
It's an offensive joke. And it's,
no black parents would name their kid Tolkien.
Right. Well, but the joke became everyone talking to Stan like, you really need to examine it. You thought his name was Token? Shame on you. And it became like talking to the audience of like, boy, that's just awful. That's such poor taste. So it became like a very meta, like, boy, you're the one with the problem if you thought his name was Token. So it was a very gutsy thing to do to address something that, maybe is as funny today in a way of like, yeah, we were never in the wrong.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad to see it's still kicking because somebody gave him $1 billion or something to keep making episodes.
That's my fear. It's like they're way too rich now. Like,
yeah,
and their rich people problems aren't as funny. So
yeah, gotta start flirting with the far right if you're gonna get that big. Did we do it?
I think we did it.
I think I did it.
Wow. Sounded guilty.
That's like that was the last thing on my list. Like I didn't bring a whole lot of TVs because I thought most of our.
Well, let's just spend 1 minute. You watched Nightmare Alley. Why did you not like it?
Why did I not? No, I did like it.
Okay, I didn't get that vibe from you. I really liked it.
So yeah, it premiered on HBO. This is Guillermo del Toro movie
and Hulu.
And it's on Hulu as
well.
Mm-hmm. And I thought, ooh, I like Guillermo del Toro. I'll check this out. Oh, it was 2.5 hours. Okay, well, I'll watch it anyway. The very next morning, it ended. I'm like, wow, that was pretty fun. I like that. Good enough. Check. Mm-hmm. And the very next morning, the Oscar nominations come out. Best Picture nomination, Nightmare Alley. I'm like, what? So I thought if I had saved that and watched it a day later, thinking, oh, here comes an Oscar nominee, I think I would have had a very different experience because I watched it and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I do not see it as an Oscar-winning kind of movie.
That's where I differ. Like him having just won Best Picture for Shape of Water a few years ago.
I didn't like Shape of Water that much.
I did not. I did not like Shape of Water. I agree. And so I was thinking this is at least going to be considered, that as something. But
that's your pedigree usually follows you. I get it.
So I watched
and in a down year for movies as well.
Yeah, I watched this and I totally can see. Like people are saying they don't think it should have been, and I think it. As far as what was nominated, this deserves it as much as anything else. I really liked this. The cast is out of this world. Toni Collette. Do you have a list of the cast?
Yeah, best picture nominees. Belfast makes sense. Historical, sad drama.
Those it's Oscar bait. There you go.
Coda. I don't know much about that.
Man, I don't get why that is nominated.
Don't Look Up.
The other people don't get. I like it. It's polarizing.
Drive My Car. That's the Japanese one, right? That's got a ton of buzz.
It's at the Athena right now.
Dune.
I could see that as the construction of it.
Big sci-fi spectacle, but those normally don't get nominated.
But it's Denis Villeneuve though. He's been nominated for things. Yeah.
King Richard, standard biopic.
But that seems like a reach. That's just trying to give Will Smith an Oscar.
Licorice Pizza.
I totally get. Yes, that should be up there.
Nightmare Alley.
Yep.
Power of the Dog. That's probably the front runner, I would assume.
Yeah.
And West Side Story, a big spectacle.
I don't have a problem with any of those really. The Nightmare Alley is gorgeous. First off, it's like a cross between a Carney story mixed with noir, and it's just beautiful as he is known to make, his movies. It was 2.5 hours, but I was just like, I could stare at this for 2.5 hours. Every scene is gorgeous, and I thought with that cast, Willem Dafoe.
The cast was stacked. Everyone in the cast,
even the bit parts are like played by somebody that could have held a movie. But Bradley Cooper was great. I thought he did a great job, and by the end of it, I'm just like, what a great final line, and he just delivers it full. How is he? I was mad that he was not nominated for Best Actor. He's not, or Best Supporting Actor for Licorice Pizza. I don't think he was nominated for that either. And this was his year, as far as I'm concerned. This was probably his best performance I've ever seen him give, and I cannot believe that he was not nominated for something. Just really ticks me off because I thought he was great in this, and I thought it was a really, really good movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked all the circus stuff better than the later stuff. So I think I would have preferred a whole movie learning the tricks of the trade and all the Carney.
I agree with that
stuff. Like, I found that way more interesting than the latter half. But yeah, I thought it was all pretty strong. Yeah, the ending felt like an old Twilight Zone episode. Like,
that's exactly
the perfect nail.
That's what I was gonna tell you. Is like,
yeah.
How could you not like this? Yeah. It's the Twilight Zone. Yeah. So anyway, I recommend it just for building up to the end. I was like, yes, that's exactly how this should end. But they set it up. You see it coming at the beginning of the movie. You feel that something's that is coming, but not exactly like that. It's just done.
It made me interested. It's based on a novel. There's been a previous film version.
There was a movie,
40s.
Tyrone Power.
I would be curious to watch an actual 40s, noirish version of this, of circus folk. I would wonder how they would do that in the 40s. That would be interesting. But,
right, I agree. It was good stuff.
I still think Power of the Dog it's their Oscar to lose at this point. I don't see anything else beating it. Maybe West Side Story is like a feel good Spielberg thing, but
man, there was other things I was annoyed with. A lot of Haim didn't get nominated.
No.
That
Nicole Kidman did.
That's the biggest thing. Nicole Kidman, Javier Bardem, and
J.K. Simmons.
Go flush yourselves down the toilet. That movie was the biggest whatever. That is so pathetic. I did not enjoy that movie, but nobody gave some phenomenal portrayal of Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz, or the guy that plays Fred Mertz. Just what? It was fine. Why are they just because it's a biopic? They think
Oscars love old Hollywood, talking about how great other actors are. That's their whole thing.
My gosh, they were not good enough for any one of them to be nominated for this. They would, if they get up on that stage, they should be cowering like, what? Please don't nominate me for this. That's pathetic. You don't have to just nominate Nicole Kidman just because she was in a movie. That's a joke. When there was actual people out there, there's a movie called Mass. I don't think I mentioned Martha Plimpton. She's great in it. Like, she should have got been up for Best Supporting Actress. It's a sad, dark movie, but she does great in it. And there's just people that should have been nominated for things that were not. There was somebody else there's one more person I was thinking that annoyed me that was not nominated. I'll never think of it, but Bradley Cooper, Alana Haim, Martha Plimpton. These people should have been nominated.
Simon Rex, maybe was that
Simon Rex. That's exactly it. That was one of my number ones. I get the movie. First off, every ad they put for that movie, what a comedy spectacle. No, it is not. You did not get the movie if you thought that. And he was great. He should have been nominated. I mean, I know they only have 5 nominations, so I could see him not being nominated. That doesn't make me...
yeah. It's got to go to Denzel Washington for Macbeth.
That's
Will
fine.
Smith, King Richard.
No.
Like, those slots go to actors like that. You know, if they're in a movie, they get a slot at some point.
What were the others?
Andrew Garfield, Tick Tick Boom.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch, Power of the Dog. Yeah. Javier Bardem. So yeah,
Javier Bardem should have been replaced with Simon Rex because Javier Bardem did not deserve to be nominated.
In the Pooh Awards, it's done.
Yes, I'm fine with I'm fine with the other noms, but he shouldn't be in there. It should be Simon Rex.
And Best Actress is the same that Kristen Stewart for Spencer. You know, if you play Lady Di, you're going to get nominated for an Oscar.
That was a weird movie.
Nicole Kidman, Penelope Cruz for Parallel Mothers.
Yeah,
that one.
I haven't seen it.
Olivia Colman, Lost Daughter.
Yeah.
Jessica Chastain, Tammy Faye.
Okay.
All good performances, but yeah, just
because you're a big star does not mean you need to be nominated. There's small stars that did things, but that's the story. There's always frustrating things with it. I understand, but I was ticked a lot. I didn't expect Alana Haim to win, but I thought she was a shoo-in to be nominated. And those things annoy me. Just because she's not somebody, she's not nominated. Ugh.
Jesse Plemons, Kirsten Dunst both got supporting nominee.
I like both of them. I don't know.
Jesse Buckley. We're getting a whole Fargo. Oh man, everybody from Fargo is getting in on this.
Yeah. There's enough people in there that I like that, I mean, if the Oscars are even on, I'll watch it. But just a few frustrations as usual. Sorry, I know we were trying to end the show, but I'm glad we did stop and talk about that stuff.
All right, that does it, right?
Yep.
All right, from the top of Fiji to the bottom of Christina Ricci, big ups for listening to KPP. My name is Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
Seth, bye forever.
Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast @gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, join our Patreon at patreon.com/udownwithkpp for special content and access to Patreon-only benefits. We are grateful for anyone who chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will remain free. So please continue to like, comment, and share.